All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have 6 o'clock and we'll go ahead and call the regular scheduled council meeting for the month of October to order. And I will turn it over to Councilwoman Garten for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
If you would like to join us for prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight, Father. Thank you so much for the blessings that you have bestowed upon us, beyond our town, Lord, and for all of our citizens. We ask now that you be at the forefront of all the decisions that are made for our wonderful town. We ask your blessings on those that are serving in the military beyond our state and beyond our country right now, that you would watch over them in every way. We ask these things in your heavenly name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since stepping into her role in April, Kristen has demonstrated exceptional dedication, professionalism, and teamwork. In addition to managing her own projects with efficiency and care, she went above and beyond by taking on citizen phone calls and administrative duties after the department's administrative assistant departed. Her positive attitude, adaptability, and commitment to serving the community truly embody the spirit of public service that makes Summerville shine.
So, Kristen, how long have you been here with the town now?
About 4 months.
4 months, and she's already made a name for herself as somebody that contributes positively to the team, jumps in wherever there's a void, and we just really appreciate your service and what you're doing here for our citizens. So thank you. Congratulations.
Ms. Kathy Akers? Whereas the National Society Colonial Dames of the 17th Century is a national lineage organization dedicated to preserving and promoting the rich history and legacy of the men and women who founded and developed our nation during the 1600s. And whereas the Society seeks to honor the memory of those early colonists whose vision, courage, and determination laid the foundation for the freedoms and values we hold dear today. And whereas the National Society Colonial Dames of the 17th Century works to preserve historical landmarks, promote educational programs, and foster patriotism among citizens of all ages. And whereas the Lord Anthony Ashley Cooper chapter, located in Summerville, South Carolina, proudly represents these ideals through its ongoing dedication to historic preservation, civic education, and community service. Now, therefore, Mayor Russ Hutchberry and the Summerville Town Council do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Colonial Heritage Month.
Thank you so much.
Whereas the town of Summerville values the importance of fostering international cooperation and understanding among law enforcement agencies in order to promote peace, security, and the rule of the law. And whereas the Summerville Police Department is dedicated to upholding the highest standards of professional excellence, community service, and global collaboration. And whereas the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Republic of Moldova, through its General Police Inspectorate, the Odessa Region Patrol Police Department, National Police of Ukraine, and the Warsaw Metropolitan Police of Poland, share these same principles of integrity, public service, and a commitment to ensuring the safety and well-being of all citizens. And whereas the establishment of a cooperative relationship between the Somerville Police Department and these international entities strengthens mutual understanding, encourages the exchange of best practices, and promotes international goodwill. Now therefore, Mayor Russ Hutchberry and the Somerville Town Council hereby resolve that the town of Somerville expresses its appreciation to all law enforcement agencies for their shared commitment to professionalism, cultural exchange, and the promotion of global security and friendship.
So real quick, it is an honor to have someone leading our police force who is recognized as a statewide leader, correct? It's even a greater honor when you recognize that they're known nationally in their profession as an exceptional leader. But now Chief Wright has demonstrated that he is recognized on the global stage as a global leader for police excellence, and we're so honored to have him as a part of the town of Somerville. Thank you, Chief.
You want to tell where I'm going, Cindy?
Huh?
You want to tell where I'm going, Cindy?
Yeah. No, no, never will, never will. Not publicly.
Yeah.
Council members, would you mind joining me down here, please, for a special presentation? Councilman Brown, come right here in the middle, please, sir. Thank you. You can hold on to this if you wish.
Absolutely.
Whereas the Honorable Aaron Brown has faithfully and honorably served the citizens of the town of Somerville as the councilman for District 1 for the past 20 years. And whereas Councilman Brown was first elected in 2005 and thereafter re-elected in 2009, 2013, 2017, and 2021, demonstrating the confidence and trust of his constituents. And whereas throughout his tenure, Councilmember Brown served with distinction as chair of the council's Public Safety Committee, providing steadfast leadership in ensuring the safety and well-being of Somerville's residents. And whereas Councilman Brown also contributed significantly as a member of the Parks and Recreation Committee, supporting the preservation and enhancement of public spaces for the enjoyment of all citizens. And whereas prior to being elected to town council, Mr. Brown served on the Dorchester County School Board and Dorchester County District 2 School Board, as well as serving as chairman of the South Carolina Manufactured Housing Board from 1980 until 1988. And whereas Councilman Brown has consistently and proudly represented the interests of District 1, ensuring that the voices and concerns of his community were heard and considered in all council deliberations. Now therefore let it be resolved by the mayor and council of the town of Somerville that the Honorable Aaron Brown is hereby commended and recognized for his 20 years of outstanding service and leadership to the town. And be it further resolved that this resolution be included with the official minutes of the October 9th, 2025 town council meeting, and that a copy be presented to Councilman Aaron Brown as a token of the town's appreciation and gratitude.
Well done. I'll hold that for you. Just as a quick sidebar, while he's shaking his colleagues' hands, if you just heard what was read, I can't think of a better legacy of service to the community than what Councilman Aaron Brown has done for the town of Somerville. And I appreciate your example, your mentorship, and your leadership. And I want you to know he's already, I hope this isn't confidential. Was it confidential?
No.
He's already offered his services if there's some volunteer opportunities to continue his service to the town. What a legacy. Thank you so much. Appreciate you greatly, sir. Hope to have you and one of my friends. Chief.
Councilman Brown, I don't think there's been a bigger supporter for public safety for the longest period of time than you yourself. From the time I came here, you've always taken a liking to me and our police department. You've supported us. You've always said yes. You've never said no. And you have come to all of our events and you're just always there for us. And we love you dearly. And you're gonna be dearly missed. So on behalf of the Somerville Police Department, we presented this to you. It says, we'd like to thank you for your tribute, for your dedication, support of the community and the Somerville Police Department. So we love you, brother. Thank you for everything you've done for us. And you won't be far. So we sticking with you.
Sir, got another little token. Mine's not as pretty as a shiny plaque, but I have a nice little bag for you. Sir, thank you so much for everything you've done for us, the town, and your dedication to public safety over these years. I'm gonna miss your smiling face. Hopefully we'll get to see you volunteering sometime. Got a little token of our appreciation for you. So thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. All right. I'll let Beth have this.
Next on the agenda, approval of minutes of previous meetings.
Mayor, I move for approval of items A, B, and C of the approval of minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve items A, B, and C for minutes. Any discussion?
Second.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First for public comment is Peter Gorman.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'd like to comment on the proposed sale of the commuter lot at Sixth and South Gum Street. Staff analysis says that it is under contract for a Jewish community center. While we would welcome it as a neighborhood asset, our 70 historic district neighbors have the following concerns. First, the lot is located between Berlin G Freeway and the east, on the east, and GR2 zoning residential on the west. The nearest MX zoning is 5 blocks away, not just a few blocks away, as your staff support states. It also says it is inappropriate for a single-family residential zoning. We strongly disagree. The proposed rezoning is inappropriate for our historic neighborhood. Secondly, there is a drainage creek on the north border of the property that flooded in 2015 and 2016, the hurricanes, because the Sawmill Branch backed up. Almost half the parcel is woodlands that absorb that kind of runoff. Will that be cleared? Any development plan would have to address this and how it affects the surrounding properties. The third point, on weekday afternoons during the school year, one lane of South Gum is completely blocked with parked cars with parents waiting to pick up their children at Spahn Elementary, from 7th Street all the way back up to 2nd Street. How are the developers going to address this traffic congestion? If you approve rezoning, what guarantee do we have that the JCC fails to raise enough to build the center and sells to a third party that could then build apartments, townhouses, hotels, banks, martial arts facilities, restaurants, and food trucks at that location under the proposed NMX zoning? Structures can be built right up to the front and the side lots and up to 40 feet high in that location under that zoning. If you have the JCC under contract, please enact an MOU with them that you will rezone the parcel once it is ready to begin construction. Otherwise, we have the same concerns that the property could be transferred to another third-party builder, similar to what we were concerned about with the old hospital. And I thank you very much. We think that zoning is inappropriate for that location. Thank you.
Greg Reichert.
Good evening. Thank you. Sorry it took me so long to get here. I'm sort of echoing what Mr. Gorman had said. I live near the intersection where the of Magnolia and 6 South, and throughout the day, there is a high volume of traffic that comes through that intersection as well in that street. It's essentially a cut through. 6th Street is essentially a cut through street. So the concern is that if the proposed buyer buys this property and then down the road turns around and sells it, what's going to happen then? And that's the protection that we as the neighbors would like to see included should this sale go through. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for public comment. Under petitions, item A, petition by 1905 Old Trolley Road LLC to annex TMS number 16108020008, located at 1905 Old Trolley Road and totaling approximately 1.29 acres, currently zoned CG General Commercial in Dorchester County and requested to be zoned UCMX Urban Corridor Mixed Use following annexation into the town of Somerville's municipal limits. This would be in Council District 6. The Planning Commission held a public hearing and made a recommendation for approval at its meeting on September 15th. The Planning and Development Committee voted to move the item to full council with a recommendation for approval at its meeting on October 6th.
All right, motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Under pending bills and resolutions, item A, second and final reading of an ordinance to annex Dorchester County TMS numbers 146000007, 109, and 112 Jasmine Drive, 146000060, 1324 Lincolnville Road, 146000017 Lincolnville Road, and 146000023 125 Craven Lane, 4 parcels totaling approximately 31.8 acres, currently all zoned R2 Single Family Residential in Dorchester County, and requested to be zoned MFR Multifamily Residential following annexation into the town of Somerville's municipal limits.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item B, second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the business license ordinance of the town of Somerville to update the class schedule as required by Act 176 of 2020.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item C, second and final reading of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of Somerville Municipal Facilities Corporation Installment Purchase Revenue Bonds, Town of Somerville Project, Series 2025, and the aggregate principal amount of not exceeding $47,500,000 for the design, construction, equipping, and furnishing of certain municipal facilities, authorizing the lease of the site thereof to Somerville Municipal Facilities Corporation, authorizing the execution and delivery of certain instruments relating to the issuance and sale of the aforesaid bonds, including a base lease agreement and a municipal facilities purchase and occupancy agreement, each between the town of Somerville, South Carolina, and Somerville Municipal Facilities Corporation, a trust agreement between Somerville Municipal Facilities Corporation and U.S. Bank Trust Company, National Association as trustee, a bond purchase agreement among the town, Somerville Municipal Facilities Corporation, and the underwriter, a preliminary official statement and an official statement related to the Series 2025 bonds, approving the creation of Somerville Municipal Facilities Corporation and its undertakings related to the aforesaid bonds and other matters relating thereto.
I'll move to approve. Second reading.
All right, motion and a second to approve second reading. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm Theodore Dubose with Angelo Sinclair Boyd and the Columbia Office Bond Counsel on this project. We did forward amendments to this ordinance for consideration dealing with adding emergency dispatch function to this building and naming the members of the nonprofit corporation. And it'd be appropriate for those amendments to be approved before you proceed with second and final reading of the ordinance.
So we need to be,
Councilman, would you
yeah,
like to amend your motion to include those amendments?
If you would please, sir, just do it in two steps
Two steps.
to amend the ordinance.
All
and
right.
Give second reading. Thank you.
So-
So it would be a motion to approve the amendments, sir.
okay.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I would move that to amend my motion to approve the amendments as stated.
Okay. Motion and a second to approve the amendments as stated by Mr. DeBose. All those in favor, or any discussion there? Councilman.
Has anybody on our staff or have you reviewed these amendments?
Yes, Mr. Halter. These were amendments that were needed because we wanted to make sure we were inclusive of all of the elements of the facility. And so those did not make it into the draft that you have in front, in the first reading. We would amend it on the second reading to include all of the facilities, including the dispatch function.
Yep.
Yep.
Sir, if you don't have them in front of you, I'll read by your leave, I'll read them out because they're fairly
Please do
brief.
so.
In the third whereas clause, it adds emergency dispatch functions to the list of appropriate use of this facility. In paragraph 7, your town attorney helpfully pointed out to me that in the final sentence, it should be the town council giving consent to filing an assignment by the corporation of its interest in these facilities. And finally, paragraph 9 names the 3 directors of the Somerville Municipal Facilities Corporation. That blank has been filled in to include Scott Slatton, ex officio as town administrator, Rita Berry, and Montez Aiken. And those are all the amendments.
Very good. Thank you.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Yeah, I do have a few questions for you and
Can we, are they about the amendments, your questions?
no, they are
Okay.
not about
So-
the amendment.
Okay,
Let's take the
let's,
vote
we'll
on
go
the
ahead and vote
amendments.
on the amendment.
Yeah.
Council members, you ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yep. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The amendments are approved.
Now you need a motion.
Now I would move to approve second reading of the ordinance.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second to approve second reading. Council member Johnson Wilson, would you like to start the discussion?
Yes, so just to dumb this down a lot for me, bonds are not general obligation debt, correct?
These are not
Or these
general
are not-
obligations of the town. They are not bonds of the town. Under a provision in the IRS code, as the IRS interpreted it, these are issued by the corporation.
Right, okay, so the town has created the nonprofit, we have the board members, the town pays the nonprofit, and then we lease it back from the nonprofit, is that correct?
In essence, you lease the space, the ground to the nonprofit. The nonprofit issues bonds. A building or buildings in this case is built on that ground. And the town has the exclusive right to use those facilities as long as it makes its semi-annual payments.
And those semi-annual payments are gonna be somewhere between 3 million and 3.7 million?
That, and then they decrease after 15 years to more like $1.5 million. And your financial advisor isn't with us tonight, but that's right, approximately.
Okay, and we will, through that, over time, we're gonna be paying that down. Now, is there a debt service reserve fund set up for this?
No, there's not.
is that something that we could do at any point? Or, I
Uh,
mean, that would be up to council, or is that something that then you have to, is that something that has to
It-
be handled ahead of time?
It's not up to me. You would have to have a conversation with your underwriter to determine whether that's necessary for this financing. The tax exemption of a debt service reserve fund depends on it being a reasonably required fund.
Okay, so is it, the statutory debt limit is 8%, is that right?
The statutory limit on general obligation bonds is 8%.
Do you know what our debt limit is now excluding this? What percentage?
I can answer that question. Our total debt limit under the 8% is about $22 million. We have about $18 million in geo debt capacity available to us if we were to need it.
So, okay, do you, I guess, what percentage then we're at?
What's eight? Don't know, whatever the percentage of,
So,
yeah.
right. So the annual appropriation payments that we make are going to come out of our general, we're gonna have to budget that every year, correct? Unlike
Under this
normal.
style of financing, the town council gets to determine where you will take that money from, whether from general fund, licenses and taxes from excess TIF, tax increment revenues, or others.
Mayor, if I may, if you'll recall, Councilman Johnson Wilson, there was a menu of revenues that we presented to you,
Yeah.
starting with the budget process and throughout the number of meetings that we've held so far on this, where we contemplated using about 7 different revenue sources,
Right.
including some that Mr. DeBose just mentioned, so that you have the flexibility to determine which pot of revenue in which to pull certain amounts. Some year it may be more amount from a particular pot, year it may be less, but this instrument provides you with the flexibility to make those decisions as the revenues dictate.
Yeah, and like our upcoming fire stations and equipment needs would come really from that same pot of money, correct? Essentially overall.
Well, we have first impact fees, the fire impact fee
Yeah.
that we would rely on for a new fire facility or any other fire equipment. So that's the first place that we would look there, but certainly impact fees are a part of that revenue mix that we've presented to you during all of our discussions.
All right, that's all of my questions.
Council members, any other items for discussion? I just want to thank Mr. DeBose and our staff for your work in preparation for this and finding a pathway forward that I believe is responsible for the town in pursuit of this facility. We've discussed it before in some of these meetings that had we done this sooner, when we recognized the challenge, we would not be looking at quite the amount of money, but the time is now to take action and get this done. So I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Let me just point out too, this is a facility we're building without increasing taxes.
Correct. And we're committed to that.
Incidentally, everybody here can buy those bonds as well.
Very good point, Councilman.
And we are committing to not raising the taxes with this debt or because of this debt. Is that correct?
We've
Well-
not taken any action to raise the taxes in association with this decision.
Yeah, let me be clear that each time council convenes for a budget, it gets to adopt the budget that it wants to. So are you binding future councils from raising taxes? No. And you are not allowed to do that under state law. The financial projection that First Tryon provided during our work session, you'll recall this spring, showed no tax increase from it.
I would say that I think this public safety complex is long overdue. Our police department and fire stations needed something like this a long time ago. First responders certainly deserve the best, most modern equipment. I am gonna vote no just because the debt is substantial and it is concerning for me with not having a reserve fund for that debt set up. I do wish we had a debt reserve fund set up. That would make me feel a lot better. And of course, I would certainly then support that because I do want the police and the fire station to have the best. So, but that is a concern. So.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item D, second and final reading of an ordinance for the town of Somerville to convey a 10-foot strip across town-owned property, which was condemned in Town v. Smiley and Son Development LLC, case number 2025 CP 18-00018.
I'll make a motion to approve second reading.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item E, second and final reading of an ordinance conveying a portion of South Pine Street containing 0.10 acre to Tiffany Wilson. Said tract was included in the debt mold plan.
Motion for approval?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to recuse myself from this.
Yes, ma'am. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item F, second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Shoemaker Tract Development Agreement by and between Lennar Carolinas LLC and the town of Somerville for that certain property identified as approximately 276.8 acres of property located in Dorchester County along the southern side of Dorchester Road near the intersection of Dorchester Road and Orangeburg Road, commonly known as Limehouse Farms. The development plan includes residential and commercial land uses.
Motion for approval?
Second.
All right. Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
For introduction of bills and resolutions, item A, first reading of an ordinance to convey to South Carolina Department of Transportation town-owned property for which an easement was previously granted to DOT, which contains 0.396 acres more or less, which is a portion of Hudson Drive.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to pass first reading. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I just want to clarify, and Ms. Miley did call me, and thank you for that. This was a road. This project happened in 2001 where we aligned Loudon Drive with Hudson Drive to eliminate a dual traffic signal situation. But I want to make sure that we are only quit claiming the new 2001, the new right of way, and still retaining the old right of way.
You're confirming that? Okay. We have confirmation from the town engineer.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right. The ayes have it.
Item B, first reading of an ordinance to authorize the mayor or town administration to execute quitclaim deeds to Janice Carol Floyd and James Ronald Floyd Jr., Sean Holcomb and Heather Holcomb, Mark J. Deach and Michelle L. Deach for the property therein described, and this is on Noisette Row.
I'll make a motion that we approve that. Second that.
All right. Motion and a second to approve first reading. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item C, first reading of an ordinance to rezone TMS number 13711090001, located at Berlin G. Myers Parkway, East 6 South Street and South Gum Street, totaling approximately 2.95 acres and owned by Town of Somerville from PL Public Lands to NMX Neighborhood Mixed Use. This is in Council District 2. The Planning Commission held a public hearing and made a recommendation for approval at its meeting on September 15th. The Planning and Development Committee voted to move the item to full council with a recommendation for approval at its meeting on October 6th.
Make a recommendation for approval.
I'll second.
All right. Motion and a second for approval of first reading. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. Is the prospective buyer considered a religious organization?
A religious organization?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And is it true that religious organizations can go in any zoning in town,
I believe that's correct.
even residential?
I'll defer to my planning commission chairman and our planning director there. Yes.
Is there a reason then to zone it neighborhood mixed use as opposed to?
Jesse, I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, the reason is because it would require a number of zoning variances, given the limited impervious surface allowance and setbacks in the GR2 zoning district.
Thank you, Ms. Schuler. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
I'm sorry, have a question on this still. The concern from the neighborhood is if the Jewish Center decided they did not want to build the Jewish Center and they wanted to sell it, could they do that, or could there be an MOU put in place for that?
Mr. Slatton?
Yeah, we've not contemplated an MOU with them. Certainly it's something we could potentially go back and discuss with them. I'd defer to GW on how binding something like that would be, particularly on a subsequent owner. But at this point, the answer to your question is that they could potentially sell that property with that NMX designation if y'all change it to the NMX.
All right.
Okay, can I amend the motion? Is that possible? It's already passed.
Yeah, y'all take a vote. You could amend it on second reading if.
So we
because it's
have
just first
second
reading.
reading, so we have
Yep.
plenty of time. All right, those opposed, because I didn't get a chance to say those opposed, but we had a majority say aye. Are you,
I'll vote for it and.
Okay.
And for it for first
let
reading.
the record
Fine.
reflect
Yes.
unanimous for first reading?
Item D, first reading of an ordinance to amend the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 15, definitions, Section 15.3, definition of terms kennels outdoor to exempt any site occupied by the Somerville Police Department and its K-9 unit. The Planning Commission will hold the required public hearing at its October 20th, 2025 meeting prior to second reading. The Planning and Development Committee voted to move the item to full council with a recommendation for approval at its meeting on October 6th.
I'll make a motion that we approve that.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item E, first reading of an ordinance to amend the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 3, use provisions, Section 3.6.1, permitted temporary uses, subsection 3.6.1G, mobile food retail vending, to update the state regulatory agency and allow for vendors to remain overnight in certain zoning districts. The Planning Commission will hold the required public hearing at its October 20th, 2025 meeting. Prior to second reading, the Planning and Development Committee voted to move the item to full council with a recommendation for approval at its meeting on October.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve first reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Under miscellaneous, item A, discuss and take desired action to authorize the use of $1.5 million and $500,000 increments for the town's wayfinding signage project from each of the following funds: local accommodations tax, hospitality tax, and state earmark funds. The request is from the Administration Department.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd just like to ask the question. So this 500,000 would come out of these different following funds all at the same time, correct? So it's all being paid at one time.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it may not be paid all at once. We will likely pay the vendor over multiple payments, but setting aside the $500,000 in each of those three funds will allow us to complete the project.
Okay.
And how will the state earmark funds? I didn't think there were earmark funds anymore.
There are earmarked funds for the Main Street Resiliency Project and for the portion of the project that is getting the wayfinding signage, that's where we'll take those funds.
We've already received those.
Yes, we have those in hand. Yes, ma'am.
Have we seen the design for those or know how many of those we're going to have?
Yeah, Mr. Neal has a voluminous document that he's happy to share with you with all of the concepts and the design work so far.
And where will those go from and to? Do they start like at the interstate or?
They're going to be placed all over the town, all over town. And that's in the document that he can share with you. Oh, it is? It's in the agenda packet? Okay, good. Yes, it is. That's right. It's down toward the bottom of the agenda packet. Yes, I forgot about
At the
that.
very end.
Yeah, go to the very end.
Yes.
And I just,
Finished
I
reading
think,
one document, so I didn't read anything.
I don't think so either.
All right,
And
council
just-
members,
just
go ahead.
Reminder, this is something that was signed on to a few years ago. Is that correct? Probably
Correct.
before.
Yes, yes,
At least
sir.
3 of us were on council, I believe. So
Yeah.
this is kind of a pick me up from a few years ago that we're doing here. And this was the agreement with the county that we made, and I assume from what I recall. Right. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see the a reminder too, just with the pictures and whatnot. That'd be great.
Mhm.
No, you don't have to. I don't need it now. I just, yeah, just an email would be great. Next, tomorrow,
Yeah.
something would be
I,
fine.
I do want to add, I believe that we,
particular project, the wayfinding signage, but I have a little concern about the accommodation tax and hospitality tax. And we've tried to help some of the communities in these areas. So I think it's a good idea for us to do this. As far as the wayfinding, I think it's a very important thing for the town. But I think we have to be careful about how we use some of the monies that we're using from other organizations.
Thank you, Councilman.
and I do want to add that, it was, I want to say, a period of over 3 months that we looked at the different proposals of the signs with the county and came for the decision to pick the ones that we wanted. So it wasn't just, it was decided at one meeting. It took about 3 months until we came up with the designs.
So these match what the county is doing as well, I'm guessing. Okay,
Yes.
that's good.
And the overall intent is to not only beautify our areas, but help visitors and residents know where they can find parks, where they can find businesses in different districts. So we can take pride, but also celebrate, hopefully, in an uplift in our businesses and our visitors coming here into the town of Somerville. All right, with that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item B, discussion of amending the Town of Somerville Code of Ordinances to include an inclusive playground ordinance. This item was requested by Councilmember Johnson Wilson for the standing committee meetings, and the Parks and Recreation Committee voted to move this item to full council at its meeting on October 6th for further discussion.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, after Monday's discussion, I felt like it might be best and least restrictive if we made this a resolution rather than an ordinance. So I'd like to make a motion that we direct staff to create a inclusive playground resolution.
I'll second that.
Yep, motion in the second for staff to prepare a resolution. Any discussion?
Yes, I do want to just say, as was told to us from our Parks and Rec department head on Monday, they're already doing this, but I think it's a great idea to have this as a resolution. But this is something that for several years now, at least every time we have a new park or we're putting in new equipment, we always look at least one item of equipment that's going to be more inclusive.
No, thank you, Councilwoman. I think that's a great point. Staff considers all abilities when planning our playgrounds, but it's a great way, this resolution, and I thank you, Councilwoman, states clearly as a council that we support their efforts to make as many inclusive opportunities for our citizens as possible. So with that, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item C, authorization for the town administrator to enter into a contract with Kimley Horn for the development of a Safe Streets and Roads for All compliant comprehensive safety action plan for an amount not to exceed $300,000. Kimley Horn was selected through the RFP process. $240,000 of the funding for this is to come for the FHWA SS4A grant program, and the town has pledged $60,000 in matching funds. The request is from the Public Works Department.
I'll make a motion. We approve that.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor, I do not have anybody for the second public comment.
I would move we adjourn, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn Councilman Aaron Brown's final meeting on town council. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Aye.